Women could be allowed to serve in British infantry units for the first time by 2016. The government had been due to announce the findings of a review into the current restrictions by the end of this year, but the Ministry of Defence now says further research is needed before a final decision is taken. Well, with us now is Dr. ChristineCheng, who's from the Department of War Studies at King's College London. Hello to you. You're in favour of this?
I am indeed. I think it's a very good idea to integrate women into the armed forces on the front lines.
And because they're on the front lines, but not in combat roles at the moment, is the big difference. Why is it a good idea?
Well, I think there are numerous advantages that could come about if that change is implemented. Let's start with the most basic one. I think if you're talking about the effectiveness of the actual ability to fight on the ground, I think women can actually enhance that rather than take away from it. I know there are numerous concerns about the physical requirements and there are concerns about the cohesiveness of the unit. But I think both of those concerns can be overcome, and other places in the world have done it. And they've done it actually with great success. So I think if we look at other places in the world, like Canada, like Australia, like New Zealand, where women have been serving in these combat roles, their ability to fight actually has improved, and I think that's good for the Army. I think there are also other important social benefits for the military overall, and that is also not to be forgotten. I think those are also important, but I think just the ability of the military to do its job, its fighting job, I think will be enhanced. But
that is an interesting point you make, because perhaps those other benefits are the reason why politicians are making it happen. I mean, we've had two prominent women campaigners against this who have both been in the Army. Ashley Merry, who was on the channel in the last hour, Major Judith Webb, who left the Army, I think, in the 80s, but really quite vociferous, both of them, in that women must be given equal opportunities, must be allowed to be at the front line, but not in an infantry unit in a combat role, that is just a step too far, primarily because of the difference of physical strength.
I think that physical strength problem can actually be dealt with quite easily. You set the same standard for everybody and don't change it. It's as simple as that. Other places have taken that step and it's been effective.
So if you don't make the physical standard, you're not there.
Of course, you wouldn't want to compromise the ability of your troops to fight.
And in reality, what sort of female presence would there be then?
I think that's up to the women who would want to serve in those roles. But why would you put a barrier in front of somebody when if they're able to actually do the task at hand?
Presumably because the argument there is that the danger is that actually you do lower the bar to a degree because of all of the other benefits. And that if there's one place in the world where you don't want that to happen, it's when a small unit of people are literally fighting for their lives.
Absolutely understood, and I think that's up to the leaders in the military to not lower that standard, if that is the core concern. But I think that's perhaps less of a worry than some of the other concerns. I think this one is actually one that there is a relatively simple solution.
Are you surprised by the need for further research? I mean, Michael Fallon, the Defence Secretary, has said he is very much in favour of this. He wants it to happen, but there needs to be the further research.
I am surprised that there needs to be further research, and not surprised at the same time, because it is a relatively new phenomenon. I mean, if you look at, say, Canada, they've been doing it for about 20 years, and it's still relatively new. The research on this is progressing, but if you're looking at the actual research on the integrated units themselves, we're still working on it as researchers. So I think it's not conclusive, but I think the indications that are there suggest that it can be very, very good for the military, not just overall in terms of the culture, but in terms of its ability to do its job.
Okay, ChristineCheng, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
You're welcome.